All right, well, welcome to Schmeefly. What is a symbol? Anyone want to take a stab at that? Okay, no one to. So, a symbol, oh yeah.
An image that represents something?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be exactly an image, but it can be something that represents something that is, can be common knowledge, such as the 3 arrows on a recycling bin. It could be a logo, anything like that. But today we're going to be talking about the symbols of Wisconsin. So what's significant things in our state that helps bring us together culturally, economically, all those things that are important to us that helps bring it all together. So my name is Matt. I'm a senior here at UWSP in our practicum program, and I'm really excited for everyone to be here. I think I know a decent bit about Wisconsin. I've been here for 22 years, so I know a lot about it. And I am very intrigued by symbols in general, and especially Wisconsin ones, because I think it's very interesting. So I hope you enjoy this program as we sit around here and talk about them. I do like conversational things, so it's not really going to be a lecture of sorts. I hope you have interactions with me, ask questions, more than welcome to. But yeah, let's get started. So we have 3 different categories that we kind of are talking about. So we have like animals, plants, and rocks and minerals, and you're more than welcome to pick which one you want to talk about first. I have no preference, so if anyone has one in particular they really want to learn about first, you can shout it on out. If you want to, I'll pick one.
What are they again?
So we got animals, plants, and rocks and minerals. Which one do you want to hear about first? Whichever one you want.
Minerals.
Minerals? Sounds good. So, has anyone ever heard of a state soil? Or know that that even is a thing? No? Okay, so I have some fun soil that we can pass all around and I can tell you all about. This is a topsoil, or it's going to be the most kind of organic matter filled, lots of good dark green. A lot of people call this stuff going to be the dirt. If you don't want any, that's okay too. Do you want any? Sweet. So this, do you want any? Okay, so kind of what the purpose of this is, I want you to feel around it, kind of get the texture down of what's going on in that soil. Because Wisconsin does in fact have a state soil. Anyone know what it's called? Or what city it's from even? So it is called Antigo Silt Loam. I have a cool diagram here of it. The reason it's a diagram is my professor wouldn't even let me steal it because he thought I'd break it. But I'll walk around and talk all about it. So the stuff you're holding on to would be kind of in the A category. AP is the exact kind of section it's called. A is the topsoil. It's going to be most organic. That's going to be where roots are, anything like that. The reason why it has a P after it, so it's AP, is because of farming. That means that used to be farmland. So when you're looking at this soil, it's called AP because that's where all the nutrients is, and that's where farming was. And Wisconsin is very big into farming, so that's why it started to become that. Moving way downward, the E, that's the alluvial layer. Fancy big word. What that means is that's where the nutrients were sucked out of from the roots of the plants that were planted there during farming. So pretty much what that means is this used to be like this, and now it's not because the nutrients were pulled up into the top layer. Moving down, we have a lot of things that look very similar. It's BT. What BT is the next layer talking about the clay that's down there. Wisconsin has a lot of clay, so it's going to be silty clay because it's a silty loam. Then moving, the reason why there's differences in them is because the farther down you get, until you get to the bedrock, there's more rocks, there's more large stones, anything like that. So it kind of builds its way down to C, which is the bedrock, so that's going to be the hard, big rock, so you can't actually dig through very easily. Now, you might be wondering why we actually have a state soil. It's kind of weird, but that soil was found and named in Antigo, Wisconsin. That's why it's called Antigo Silt Loam. And in 1977, it became our official state soil to help bring awareness of soil science and the importance of soil with farming and wetlands and all that was so important they wanted to bring notice to it. So they kind of campaigned for it to become a state symbol so that everyone can learn about the different things, especially in elementary schools when you go through state subjects talking about state symbols. They could bring up that to bring new light onto our soil sciences that we have in our state. Next up, we have our state fossil. Anyone want to take a stab in the dark what our state fossil is? This one's pretty cool. No?
Tyrannosaurus Rex.
It's not Tyrannosaurus Rex. No. So I have a diagram of it and an actual specimen. I was told by the person I brought this from that no one can touch it because he thinks I'll break it. So you can pass it around and check it out. But this is what our fossil is. It's called tribolite. Okay?
You kind of have a reputation, don't you?
I know. People think I break stuff, so that's why I can't pass stuff around. But there's a lot of other stuff we'll be able to pass around. Okay. And then the diagram shows it on a much larger scale, so you can see it more interestingly. But what this is an extinct marine arthropod. An arthropod is an animal that has a hard shell on it. The closest relative to this is a horseshoe crab, and this is actually an extinct species. Something really interesting about this is that, like I said, it's a marine arthropod, which means like the ocean. So you might be wondering why there's a marine fossil as our state fossil, and that's because millions of years ago, there actually used to be lots of water here that was marine, and that's why we find it here. So the reason why tribolite became our state symbol for fossils is so we can bring knowledge to our geological rich past, especially talking about the marine life that used to live here. It's really cool. Anyone have any questions about these?
Is it freshwater or saltwater?
Salt water. Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why it's really cool. Yeah. Yeah. Moving along, after our fossil, the best place to go is our state rock. So Wisconsin has a rich history of mining. On our state flag, we have a miner on there along with a sailor. But the miner's there for two reasons, for our next two objects. The first one is our state rock. Anyone know what that is offhand? It's all around us on the path. If anyone wants to take a guess.
Right.
Or I can pass these around as well, and you can check them all out.
I think I heard it back there.
Oh, did someone say it back here?
Rocks.
Granite. Yeah, do you know what kind of granite it is? Yes, so it is red granite, yes. Yes, red granite. That is our state rock. Exactly. So red granite is found all over Wisconsin. If you think of like quarries, that's where everything was mined out. Most of those were red granite quarries. Like Granite Peak in Wausau, that's a red granite mountain almost. And that is the reason why we decided to have it as our state symbol is because of the cultural significance with the mining and also because of the rich abundance that we have. We use it all over the state because we have so much of it, such as gravel paths or countertops that we cut into big slabs. Red granite is used all over the place, and that's why we thought it was a big significant enough that we wanted to use it as our state symbol. On the other hand, there's, oh, thank you so much. On the other hand, we have our state mineral. That one also has to do with the rich history of mining in our state, but that is because they were mining it for the use in iron and in silver. Using that, can anyone take a guess what it might be? This is a picture of it. And I have a vial of it here, but it's labeled, so I don't pass it yet. I can walk around. Any guesses on what this might be? It's not, no. Starts with a G. Starts with a G. So it is galena. So this is a vial of it. Again, please don't drop it. But galena is our state mineral. Like I said, it was one of the main things that was mined for in Wisconsin, and that's why it was kind of taken up between the sets of granite that was all over the place, because that's the main thing they were looking for. Wisconsin, when it was a territory, did so much mining that they were one of the big key sources that made iron and silver all came from our mines in Wisconsin. Those were the big things that were going on. And the reason why this and red granite became state symbols was because we wanted to bring the importance of our of the ecological importance and our cultural significance with mining to today, where we don't have as much mining, but we still want to show off the significance of it. Yeah. Any questions on our rocks and minerals before we move on to our next category?
How is galena mined? Is it like a strip mining or?
Yep, strip mining. Yeah. Yep, strip mining. And I'll go into the cool things about the mines when we talk about our animals too. Oh, thank you so much. Did you see it all? You have not? Okay. Yep, so is strip mining. They actually did a ton of different ones. Yeah, we'll talk about that in the animal section. So, the next one, do you want to talk about plants or animals? Animals? Okay. So, Wisconsin, what is it most known for? What animal really is the symbol of Wisconsin?
Raccoons.
Of course. Same color-ish. Yeah. Yeah. Robin is actually one of our animals. We can talk about that if you'd like. I have an animal noise here.
This is football fans
So,
That was a short song.
so that is a robin call. Robins are very significant to Wisconsin. You said that you thought it was robins. Why do you think robins are significant?
It's your state bird, right?
Yep, it is our state bird. Any other reasons, just for you personally, think robins are
I
cool?
see a bunch of them. I mean, there's a bunch of them around.
Exactly, yeah. So robins are very abundant in Wisconsin, but something not a lot of people know about it is that they are migratory. So they actually migrate south during the winter, and they're one of the only state birds in the U.S. that actually migrates as in a year-round bird there. That's why a lot of people have cardinals, because they stay there year-round. But robins, the reason why we have them as our state bird is because we have so many of them, and also, since they migrate, they're one of the first birds to actually come back in spring. So it's a good sign that spring is right around the corner because the robins are back. It's one of the big reasons why people love robins. But the reason actually why it became the official state bird is because of elementary schoolers. So in 1957, there was in Dane County, they wanted to work with the elementary schools to vote on new state symbols because we didn't have any at that point, and we wanted to make new things that kids can really connect with. So they had a ton of different birds, and robins actually got 2 times the amount of votes as any other bird that was even on the ballot for it because kids loved robins. We'll talk a lot about that voting section a little more too. Now, the official state animal of Wisconsin. We were known as it for a long time. What kind of, anyone want to take a guess at that? The something state? The Badger State, exactly. So, the Wisconsin Badger, yes. So, fun fact about us as a Badger State, we actually didn't have the Badger as our official state animal until 1957. Since 1848 and onward, we were known as the Badger State. We had a badger on our state flag, but it was never actually officially said as our state animal. That's why the elementary schoolers voted on it because they wanted more state things. So they said, okay, let's just throw badger in there and see how it goes. So I have a couple cool things of the badger. I have this skull here, and I also have a cool badger pelt. These are real, so if you don't want to touch a real animal, totally understandable. That's just how it is. But there are a couple cool things about this badger skull, about the badger species themselves, that I do like to talk about. So, when you're looking at the badger, you'll see it has a lot of sharp teeth here. That's because it is a carnivore, while we are omnivores, so we have flat molars and not just the sharp teeth. The reason they have sharp teeth is because all they do is bite and tear their meat away. They don't actually chew it too much. They bite, tear, and swallow. So that's a really cool way you can identify it as a badger. They have these sharp teeth here. They are the same as kind of like on a dog. Anyone know what they're called? Yeah. Yes, canines, exactly. Yeah, so they are the canines. Another interesting way that you can tell this isn't actually like a canine, like a wolf or a coyote, is because of the nose. You'll notice it's very short and snubby, while a canine, like a wolf or coyote or a dog in general, they have a long snout. This is more of a mixture between that and a feline skull, which are more flat. So that's another really good way to tell. And then the last way is if you look at the back of the skull right here, you'll see this hole. This is the hole that connects to the spinal cord on the badger. And badgers are really low to the ground. They dig all around, so they have to keep their back completely flat. While a horse, their spinal cord would come up from the bottom, while these ones are more flat. Yeah. So I will also pass this around. You're more than welcome to check it out. But yeah. So badgers have been super important to Wisconsin for a long time. Anyone know why we are called the Badger State? It does have to do with the mines, like I mentioned before. So, when they were mining for the red granite and the Galena, what they were doing is they were making tons and tons of holes all across hillsides. And people started coining them as badger holes because there were so many of them, people thought badgers were digging them up and climbing into the hills. So we got coined as the Badger State because of that. We had so many holes around, they thought they were badgers, even though they weren't. They were just the miners digging in the mountains. Coined us the Badger State, and it's been the same ever since. That's why UW-Madison are the Wisconsin Badgers, and that's also why a badger is on our state flag, along with a sailor and the miner. Yeah. Any questions about these two?
What kind of mines had badger holes? And if you said it, I wasn't listening.
So all of them were
Oh.
coined as badger holes
Okay.
because there were so many. It looked like just tons of holes on the mountainside.
Okay.
Yeah, so they were all coined as badger holes. Yep.
And didn't miners live in them too?
Yep.
That was another reason.
Yeah. So they were like the badgers in the woods.
Badgers lived in them, so did miners.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, we had a poet in South Dakota who lived in a house he built called the Badger Bowl.
Oh.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, it's totally okay. Yeah.
So are there different species of badger, or is it just
Yes.
one badger?
So
Okay.
we have the American badger, which is that one, and then we also have an English badger, which is much more clean, full black. Well, that one has some gray in it, and some interesting differences between them. The American badger is much more ferocious and mean. Honestly, they're very mean animals.
And this is the American?
That's the American. Yes. You can tell mostly from it has the gray speckle on it, while English badger is mostly full black on its back. Yeah. And then English badgers are, like I said, much more clean, and they're less violent, but they're still pretty mean. Something actually, other really cool thing about badgers is that they can repel almost any toxin that gets put into them by like a snake bite or anything like that, unless it hits their nose. Yeah. Yeah. Like a mongoose. Yeah. Pretty cool things about badgers. Yeah. They are also one of the only animals in our state that can actually really fight off a porcupine, like also a fisher can, because they go and scoop under it and flip it over. Sweet. So now that we talked about our badger, which is the state animal, there actually was controversy with it when it was first made because, like I said, it was in Door County, that's in the elementary schools down south, but everyone up north was a little angry about it because they thought there was a more abundant animal that was more important to our state. Anyone want to take a guess what that could be?
The deer.
The deer, exactly. So it was this, a white-tailed deer. So this is not our state animal. This is our state wildlife animal. Okay. Yeah, I know. They did that to make them happy, pretty much. But the reason why everyone up north was upset about the badger is because they said, well, badgers aren't that abundant in Wisconsin. Deer are way more abundant. And that's because every time they drive around a corner, there's deer there. There's deer all over the place in Schmeekly. I actually saw one by the bird feeders while I was setting up. And they were a little upset about it. And pretty much to make everyone happy, they decided to add in more animals, not just state animals, but state wildlife animals, which is the white-tailed deer. The main reason why they were totally okay with it was because of the abundance, the economical significance of them, because a lot of people eat venison in Wisconsin, and also the cultural significance. Because of hunting in Wisconsin, people leave school to go hunting, people have whole trips dedicated to going hunting during hunting season. People are late to Thanksgiving dinner because of hunting season. They are very important to the people of Wisconsin. So they made the compromise and added a whole new category of animals, such as the wildlife animal. It's also known as the game animal, but the official name is wildlife animal. Yeah. But on the other side of that, there is the state domestic animal. So that's going to be an animal that lives on a farm. Anyone want to take a stab into what that one is? Yeah. The cow, exactly. So, do you know what specific species of cow? The dairy cow. Yes. So, the dairy cow, the black and white cow. We also, some places have Highland cows, which are the ones with the big long hair. And then there's the Angus cows, which are the full black ones. But dairy cows are very significant to Wisconsin. We are known as the dairy state, that's our other name, because of, again, the economical significance of them. We have tons of milk, cheese, other dairy products come out of Wisconsin every single year. And we are the largest producer of dairy products in our country. If you want to pet this, you can. His name's Mr. Cow. I stole it from my wife. But yes, so the dairy cow is very significant. And something actually not a lot of people know about dairy cows is that in other states besides Wisconsin, people have never seen a dairy cow before. When I went out to Idaho, they've only ever seen a full black cow. They've never seen a black and white cow because we kind of have dominated the dairy industry. So there's no one really needs to have dairy cows because we have it all, pretty much. Yeah. So that again came in 1957, voted on as well with the deer and the badger and the robin. Those are all voted around in the same year because they're pretty staple Wisconsin ones, not much stretch on that one. Yeah, any questions about our dairy cows? Sweet, yeah. The other reason why they, I feel like they have a cultural significance is because, honestly, if you drive anywhere in the state, on any highway or interstate, you will see a dairy farm. They are everywhere, and that's another big reason why they have such cultural significance, because everywhere you look, there is one. Now we're into the weird ones of our state. We have a state insect. Anyone want to take a guess what that one is?
Mosquito.
It's not a mosquito. No. Not a mosquito.
We think it is.
Any guesses?
Black
It's
flies.
nope. It's small, does fly, black and yellow. Yeah.
Bumblebee.
Doesn't make more
To some people, yes. It is a honeybee. Yeah. So that's a specific one. So I could not steal a bee from nature because they are all not out right now. But yes, the honeybee. There is a very specific reason why the honeybee is our state animal. It's not for making honey. Anyone want to take a guess why? What else do? What was that?
Pollinating.
Pollinating, exactly. So, Wisconsin, big in agriculture. Make a lot of corn, make a lot of potatoes, all that stuff. But none of them would really produce or get big or grow if it wasn't for our pollinators. Bees are guessed to pollinate about 60 to 80% of all crops. The other big pollinators would be like wind or butterflies or moths, anything like that. But these ones are the biggest one. Little things about bees. We have our queen bee right in the middle. That's the big bee that lays all the eggs in the hive. You can actually see on this one, there's a little red dot in the back. That's what queen bees have. I'll walk around and show you. It's a little blurry of one, but there's a little red dot there. That's all queen bees actually have that. Then we have the drone bee. Anyone know what the drone bee is in a honeybee hive? No, so the worker bee is something else. The guys, yes. So the drone is the males in the hive. Their only job is to reproduce, and they die during it. That is their only job. They are, yeah, that's all they do. But then the workers, those are the female bees that aren't the queen, and they do everything else. So they build the hive, they pollinate, they make honey, they do everything else. But yeah, so in Wisconsin, the big thing of why they are our state animal is because, our state insect, I'm sorry, is because of pollination. Pollination is huge. And that was actually voted in 1977. They did it 20 years later, they did it again in Dane County. And they said, what's some new topics we can have? And they decided that insect was a keeper. So they wanted to do that. Yeah. Now on to our second to last category, which is plants. There's one more, but I didn't want you to pick that one first. We have a couple of different plants. We actually only have 3 official state plants. We have a flower, a tree, and a crop. Anyone want to take a guess what any of those could be?
Flowers of violet.
Do you know what kind of violet?
No.
So it is a wood violet. So this is what they look like. There are violets, so they have a crowned head. You can pass it around and check it out if you'd like. A wood violet is our state flower for a couple reasons. One, very similar to the robin, they are the first plant that actually comes up in spring. So it's another good sign spring's coming. They can use it to see, hey, it's getting warm, plants are coming up. But the other biggest reason is because of what type of land we actually have in Wisconsin. 2 of the biggest ones are going to be woodlands and wetlands. Those are all over the place, and wood violets can grow in both. They are one of the few plants that can grow in both very successfully even. So they wanted, when they asked the elementary school kids again in 1977, because this was in the second round, they asked, what plant do you think looks pretty, is all over the place, and can really help represent Wisconsin? So they said, well, this plant is abundant. They are everywhere because they're in both woodlands and wetlands. And they look pretty. Everyone likes the purple flowers in spring. They're the first ones up. So it's another nice thing. It's next up is our state plants. Anyone know what our state, or not plant, I just did plant, state tree. Anyone know what our state tree could be? What was that?
Sugar.
Sugar maple, exactly. So I have this sugar maple. The closest sugar maple to us right now is about a mile that way, so if you want to go on a hike, maybe. But yeah, so that is a sugar maple. Sugar maples are huge, are all over the place in Wisconsin. This is a leaf of it, and the reason I have this is to kind of show you the difference between this and a red maple, which are all over the place. You will notice that this one has 5 lobes, while this one only has 3. So that's one of the biggest ways to actually tell the difference. And then a silver maple, which is the other maple tree that is all over our state, has much deeper indents in them. But yeah, so the sugar maple. Anyone can you guess why it's significant enough to become a state tree? It's a pretty funny reason why. Because there is no reason. There's actually no reason why the sugar maple was significant enough to become our state tree. When they were voting with the elementary school kids, the biggest ones were white oak, red pine, sugar maple, and white birch. And all those kids thought that sugar maple looked the nicest. Sugar maple does have significance in our state. They do help us with maple syrup making up north. That's very huge. One of my friends has a grandpa that taps about 90 trees a year, so he has a lot. But it is significant. We get a lot of maple syrup. But overall, there wasn't a key thing of why that became our state tree. It was mostly because kids thought it looked cool and wanted to have it. So it was voted for that. That's what happens when you have a bunch of elementary school kids vote on a tree. So, yeah. Because personally, I think it could have been the cedar because it's pretty good. But yeah. Now, our last plant is a crop, our state crop. So this one I did mention before in another time. Anyone take a stab at what it could be? We grow 80% of it in the US. We grow a lot. And it is corn.
More than
Yes.
Iowa?
Yeah, we grow a lot of corn. So you can pass it around if you like.
I would have said cranberry when you said 80%.
No, we actually grow 80% of the corn in the US. Yeah. I'm not kidding. That's what it says. That's what the official Wisconsin State Symbols websites talk about it. In multiple sources I found it said 80% of the corn in the US is grown there.
That's because we go sweet and field.
Yeah. We grow a bunch of different stuff. Yeah. But yeah, so corn is very significant. We have corn festivals. Cranberries was in the running for it, but most of cranberry growing is in the middle of the state in the wetlands, while down south they don't have it as much. But yeah, corn is very popular in our state. And there was one more fact I wanted to share about it, but I don't remember. Yes, and this one was was voted for our state crop in 1989. So this is a fairly new one, and there was a bunch of contenders, but again, there's elementary school kids, and they know what corn is, so they thought it'd be a good one. Yeah. Now those are our main 3 categories that we have, but there are a couple of fun ones, and that's our food category. Yeah. So Wisconsin has an official state beverage. You want to know what that could be?
Beer?
Not beer. No, not beer.
Oh, sorry.
What was that? It is milk. And I bought some
Oh, of
Felt
course it is.
milk, local milk right here. I don't know if you really need me to pass it around because it's milk. Most people have seen milk before. But like I said, Wisconsin is America's dairyland. We make a lot of milk a year. You can get milk everywhere. This is actually one of the cheapest places in the U.S. to buy milk because most of it's local. And every kid that voted has had milk before. That's the main thing. Everyone knows what milk is here. Everyone has had it. Everyone has their own personal favorite type of milk. Mine is 2%. If anyone has any objections to that, I'm sorry, but it might be wrong. 2% is my favorite. But yeah, It was voted in 1989, just like all the newest ones. That is one of the newer sets. But yeah, milk is milk, and Wisconsin likes milk, so that's why it is. There's not too much to really squander about it. It's Wisconsin milk. But there is one that I don't have in here because it's not an official state symbol, but it's going to be voted into soon. We have two types of food. We have the cheese of Wisconsin and the desserts. Yeah. So these aren't official yet, but they're speculated to become the newest ones. So what do you think the state cheese is?
Colby.
It is Colby. Colby is #1 leading for Wisconsin state cheese right now, Wisconsin Colby. And then our state dessert. You want to take a guess on that one? It's not cheesecake. You can get this at a lot of fairs. It is a cream puff, yes. Cream puffs is in the lead running for our state dessert now. But we do have an official good food going on. It's our state pastry. And this one has a lot of cultural and historical significance to it. They were brought here with the Danish, and you can get it in almost every single supermarket in the States. Yes, it is Kringle. And I have some right here. Yes. Wisconsin Kringle is our state pastry. This was brought here with the Danish, with all the immigrants that came here. Most of them came from Germany, Poland, and Ireland. But then the Danish brought their Kringle with them. The recipe has stayed almost exactly the same, except for some other fruits have been added in. I believe the official one is almond, but I don't like almonds, so I didn't get one. So, but yes. So we have the Kringle. This is one of our newest ones that was also voted in, and is pretty much a staple of the culture around here. It came to Milwaukee, where a lot of Danish people lived, and the recipe kind of exploded all over the place because people liked Kringles. Yeah. Sweet. So I hope you learned something about something that we had going on around here, and I hope that you can use the different items that I showed you today, that every time you walk outside or travel around Wisconsin, you'll see one of these somewhere. If it's driving by a cornfield, thinking about the economic significance that it has to our state. If you're seeing cows all over the place, not just saying, ooh, a cow, but that they are important to us. Going hunting, thinking of deer, how people fought for it because they loved them so much. Or the badger, how that even just a tall tale of calling people in badger holes because of mining, calling it a badger. But yeah, I hope you learned something and enjoyed it. And I will cut up some Kringle. I brought a knife for it if you would like some. Yes. Thank you.